Hi, I'm Peter Bolland, inviting you to join me for my upcoming San Diego Oasis webinar called Epictetus, From Roman Slave to Stoic Philosopher. Stoicism is the philosophy of forbearance, of learning how to live in a world that is often fraught with suffering and difficulty. That things happen and we have to figure out how to navigate that. I don't need to tell you that. Just look at the world we're living in. So there are a lot of great tools in Stoicism to help you and I navigate the difficulties of our own lives. I'll see you then.
Many of us have migrated from computers to tablets, but have been frustrated with the lack of some features on these tablets. The newer iPads have added features that increase its versatility, making it much like a laptop as well as a tablet. I'm Barbara Smith. In the iPad accessories class, we'll look at the iPad Pro, along with a number of accessories that include keyboards, Bluetooth add-ons, adapters that you can use with USB devices, your mouse, and more. If you're looking for new ways to enhance your iPad experience, tune in on Friday, November 13th at 11 a.m. Hope to see you then.
Hi, my name is Aniko Makranczy, and I'll be teaching a class on the American painter Charles Burchfield. Early on, he painted scenes of nature and of his hometown in Ohio. Later, he painted small town and industrial scenes, and towards the end of his life, he returned to focusing on nature again. One of his goals was to paint sound, and in his work, we see examples of interpretations of insect sounds and frog sounds. He expressed an intensely personal view of the world and said he felt as if colors made sound. His work is sometimes called mystical or transcendental. Much of his work is utterly unique. I hope you can join me on November 12th.
Did you ever read Nancy Drew books by Keeline? And what about all those other series books? Turns out there's a lot more of them than you might have imagined. What kind of people wrote them? And how was it done? Did they use outlines? Learn this and a whole lot more at my talk about Nancy Drew and Friends, how series books were made.
On Friday, November 13th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm going to be sharing in a live performance the songs of Shady Grove, songs from the dark green valleys of Appalachia, the southern mountains and plantations, and America's heartland and waterways. It's a great time to find a super comfortable chair, put your feet up, and enjoy American roots. Lovely and comedic, lots of courting, in the spirit of working through hard times with a song in your heart.
Hi, I'm Rudy Shappee, a local historian, and I'd like to invite you and your family to participate in a program about the Pilgrim Odyssey, which I'll be presenting at 1 p.m. on Friday, the 13th of November. During our talks, we'll talk about who the Pilgrims were, how they got their name, where they come from, why they had to leave England, why they went to Holland, why they changed their mind and decided to go to the New World, and then how they managed all that. Where did they find a ship? And then once they found one, how did they decide who was going to go and who was going to stay behind? We'll talk about the voyage, conditions aboard ship, what they ate, the daily routines, the clothing they wore, and so on. And then finally, approaching the New World and making landfall.
Now that the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II has passed, we have come to cherish the stories of the veterans who fought that war. In my years as a writer, I have interviewed hundreds of World War II veterans, and I've come to know them and their stories. Several of them have really stood out, and these are the ones that I'm telling you. Men who were at Pearl Harbor and Iwo Jima, women who were on Corregidor, people who fought in the Pacific and the Atlantic, all the way to the islands, to Europe, in the air, on the water, under the water, and on the land. Men who jumped from airplanes and men who fought in jungles. This is the story of men and women, many of whom are no longer with us, who finally have the opportunity to tell their stories. World War II through their eyes.